Studies have blamed several factors for the Lake Chad's steady decline. These include shifting climate patterns, poor human water use through inefficient damming and poor irrigation methods, overgrazing, which leads to vegetation decline in the region, as well as desertification. 4 decades ago, Lake Chad had an elevation of about 286 meters above sea level, and it had an area of more than 25,000 square kilometers. 40 years ago, fishermen in 4 countries used to land 180,000 tons of fresh fish annually from the lake, which were smoked or dried and then taken by trucks to markets in all parts of the 4 countries, including Nigeria. The lake's shrinking over the years has already caused many other problems apart from the loss of food sources and means of livelihood, as it was discovered during the dispute over Nigeria's boundary with Cameroon following the Bakassi dispute. The international border across Lake Chad became obscured because as the lake shrank, fishermen living on its banks followed it until some Nigerians found themselves more than 100 kilometers deep into Chad. In October 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari promised to ensure equitable water resources management by paying the matching grant of 850 million naira to complement the 100 million naira from each of the states bordering the Lake Chad. By 2050, climate change could cost between 6 and 30% of Nigeria's GDP, which is valued between $100 billion and $460 billion. The problem would get worse if it was not solved as soon as possible.
We also have a big initiative which Nigeria is participating in, and I'm very proud of what Nigeria is doing there. It started, well launched, by former President Goodluck Jonathan when I was in the cabinet, was the issue with the Great Green Wall, and that continues even under President Buhari. This Great Green Wall, the President Buhari was there in the session where this was being discussed. It is a very crucial thing for Africa. It's going to give Sahelian countries new pair of lungs to be able to address the problem of heat, desertification, sand dune encroachment, and the livelihoods that are simply just going out of the window. I believe that we must build the Great Green Wall. Very, very important. It will stabilize most of our Sahelian countries. It will create new economic prosperity zones. And more than anything else, it will also allow Africa to deal with the fundamental issue of climate change. And that's why I here, as president of the African Development Bank, I've announced that the African Development Bank will invest $5 billion a year up to 2020 to allow African countries to adapt to climate change. I've met with so many presidents, world leaders here, and the voice is the same for Africa. Africa is the least emitter of greenhouse gases, but Africa is suffering the most. No, Africa has already been shortchanged by climate change. But we must now make sure, and we will, that Africa is not shortchanged by climate finance.
The Sahara is currently the second largest desert in size, only smaller than Antarctica. However, unlike its frozen relative, the Sahara is actually expanding. The United Nations estimates that by 2025, 2/3 of Africa's arable land will be covered in Saharan sand, vastly expanding the current 9 million square kilometers. Even if these predictions prove aggressive, the effect of farmland destruction on a continent already hard-pressed for food will be devastating on any level.